Okay, so watch the Trump version and then watch the Biden version. Trump version was this Savannah Guthrie hounding him on what could he be done, what did he do, what how could he be changed anything, how you know not where's it going. Biden version is what's he going to do to create, what's he going to do to change, what's he going to do, it's a polar opposite of situations. So, and plus, Trump only got an hour, Biden's getting 2 hours. Biden's having no supporters around him, and he's going it, it, you know, in depth on what he's planning on doing. Trump had supporters around him, people giving him thumbs up, shaking their heads, wearing masks, getting questions answered, and yeah, complete polar opposites. How's this going to play out? Well, being an unpolitical science major, I say that anybody that's for Biden is going to stick with Biden. Anybody that so happened to watch Biden that's a moderate or in between is going to jump to Biden. Anybody that is pro-Trump 100% sees Biden, shakes their head, changes it. And what did Trump do to help things? He got to clarify some things without screaming and yelling and getting upset, which is good. Shows a little bit more demeanor on him, a little bit more gravitas, and yeah, they'll stick with him. Some of the moderates that were undecided, if they happen to watch the entire thing, they might go with him, but if they're switching back and forth, they're going to go to Biden. Biden has an hour extra, so then he's going to siphon off any of those moderates. So, this was a flop. Shouldn't have happened. Point blank, shouldn't have happened. Is Biden wearing an earpiece? Is Biden getting cues from people? I don't know. Is there a supporter off camera, holding up cue cards or whatever? I don't know, because George Stephanopoulos is biased and he'll let things slide. I haven't seen any hard-hitting questions like, where's Hunter? Oh, and by the way, anybody that loves the letter 17, watch your butts. Kevin Fuglefam out. Oh, we're back to it. More Biden stuff.
Our troops are coming home. Serbia is talking to Kosovo, and the Arabs and Israelis are talking peace, which I believe is a modern-day miracle. What's going on? Does President Trump's foreign policy deserve some credit? A little, not a whole lot. We find ourselves in a position where we're more isolated in the world than we've ever been. Our allies are go it alone. America first has made America alone. You have Iran closer to having enough nuclear material to build a bomb. North Korea has more bombs and missiles available to it. We find ourselves where our NATO allies are publicly saying they can't count on us. We're in a situation as well where in the Far East we find ourselves in the Western Pacific where we're isolated as well. You have Japan and South Korea recently. If you take a look, we're not very well trusted around the world. When 17 major nations in the world were asked who they trust more, who's a better leader, and the president came in behind both the international survey, both behind Putin as well as Xi. And look what Putin's doing. You have Americans, bounties on American military's heads in Afghanistan. They have more people there.
That was under his administration.
Left in Afghanistan. And we find ourselves in a situation where he's talked to Putin 6 times, hadn't said a word to him. And NATO is on the risk of beginning to crack because they doubt our concern whether we're there. You see what's happening in everything from Belarus to Poland to Hungary. And this president embraces all the thugs in the world. I mean, he's got Chris and the love letters, and he doesn't take on Putin in any way. And he is just he's learned the art of
Bullshit.
from the art of the deal by Xi in China. So I would respectfully suggest no, there is no plan, no coherent plan for foreign policy. We've always been, we've been most effective as a world leader in my opinion, not just by the exercise of our power, the most powerful nation in the world, but the power of our example. That's what's led the rest of the world to follow us on almost everything, on almost every international organization.
It's my turn to sneeze on camera.
Literally, not figuratively, when he goes to the United Nations. I mean, it's not about the president per se, it's about the nation.
Want to get one more question in this segment, and it comes from Mika Hack. She's from State College, Pennsylvania. This is your first presidential election.
Look at that audience.
Hi, Mika, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm the proud mom of 2 girls, 8 and 10. My youngest daughter is transgender.
Why didn't you abort her?
The administration has attacked the rights of transgender people, banning them from military service, weakening non-discrimination protections, and even removing the word transgender from some government websites. How will you, as president, reverse this dangerous and discriminatory agenda and ensure that the lives
How old's your daughter?
of LGBTQ people are protected under U.S. law?
Oh, flat out just change the law. Eliminate those executive orders, number one. You may recall, I'm the guy who said, I was raised by a man who, I remember I was being dropped off. My dad was a high school educated, well-read man who was a really decent guy, and I was being dropped off to get an application in the center of our city, Wilmington, Delaware, the corporate capital of the world at the time. And these 2 men, I'm getting out to get an application to be a lifeguard in the African American community because there was a big swimming pool complex. And these 2 men, well dressed, leaned up and hugged one another and kissed one another. I'm getting out of the car at the light, and I turned to my dad. My dad looked at me and said, Joey, it's simple. They love each other. The idea that an 8-year-old child or a 10-year-old child decides, I decided I want to be transgender. That's what I think I'd like to be. It'll make my life a lot easier. There should be 0 discrimination. And what's happening is too many transgender women of color are being murdered. They're being murdered. I mean, I think it's up to now 17. Don't hold me to that number, but it's higher now.
Yeah.
And this just is here. And so I promise you, there is no reason to suggest that there should be any right denied your daughter or daughters, whichever, 1 or 2, your daughter, that your other daughter has a right to be and do. None. 0. And by the way, my son Bo, who passed away, was the Attorney General of the state of Delaware. He was the guy who got the first transgender law passed in the state of Delaware. And
good.
A young man who became a woman who worked for him in the Attorney General's office.
Got one more segment coming up. Thank you.
And I'm proud of that.
Oh, yay. And the hits just keep coming, guys. Have a good day.
I was just a regular high school girl.
Excuse my sneezing. It happens when I'm dipping. It causes my sinuses to start. But have a good day. Everybody be safe, be prepared, and